I'm Bob Hogan, along with Russ Gondek. We'll be bringing you all the action of the 2A title game between undefeated and second-ranked Sigourney against undefeated and top-ranked Hudson. It's a matchup of Sigourney's speed against Hudson's strength and size. Russ Gondek, how do you see this one?
Offensively, that's the way to look at the game this afternoon. Sigourney, the highest scoring team in the finals here at the Unidome, 40+ points per game, and the strength, their offensive power displayed in the first half. They have never been behind at halftime. Hudson, meanwhile, their big advantage, they played in the Dome before. They know what it's like. Last time 2 weeks ago, scored 34 points, rushed on the ground. We have the potential for scoring in this game.
That's right, Sigourney over 600 total yards in that game. Kickoff just minutes away. We'll be back for more high school football championship action from the Unidome in just a moment. Interested in how Hudson and Sigourney got this far. Hudson is 11-0. They beat Sumner 27-8 in the opening round of the playoffs, and Rock Valley in Rock Valley 7-6 last Saturday afternoon. Sigourney is also 11-0. They beat Olds Waco 32-7 and Adel DeSoto 42-16. That's the game. They mounted up over 600 yards in total offense. The Hudson Pirates will be in navy blue and white. They will receive the opening kickoff from the Sigourney Savages, who will be in white and gold. And Russ Gondek, I understand there's rather an interesting story about the gold helmets that the Hudson Pirates will be wearing in this one.
I can assure you that it's no problem. They do have enough money at Hudson to buy helmets. Actual problem, what happened during the season is that a number of Hudson players, because of their defensive ability, have received gold helmets as awards. There are 10 such helmets on the Hudson team, 40 players altogether. So approximately 1/4 of the players on the field, mostly on the defensive crew, will have the gold helmets, and that's a combination of fumble recoveries, excellent defensive plays, and they have to achieve a number of those during the season, of course, before they can receive the gold helmet. So that is an award. It is definitely not a debit, not because they do not have to buy the white helmets.
Hudson has quite a program there, as a matter of fact. They won the 1975 2A title, defeating Packwood of Pekin 13-7. And Sigourney has been here before as well. They lost the title game 1976 to Central Lyon by a score of 14-0. Hudson has also played in the Dome this year. They defeated West Marshall 34-7. And Russ, I understand that the Sigourney coach is a little bit worried about that, just the temperature in the Dome. He's had his players practicing in the gym this week.
Yes, when I spoke to him earlier in the week, he wanted to have the opportunity to come over to the Dome and practice. So they arrived actually a day before they needed to on Thursday, and they had an opportunity to practice. Hudson does have the advantage because of that. They have the opportunity to play in the Dome. So, of course, Sigourney's coach would like to get some experience, and I'm sure they'll be ready.
Sigourney's coach is Chuck Henry, is also the athletic director. The 2A officials are James Jakim from West Des Moines, Jack Blake of Indianola, Bob Locker of Slater, and Dan Newberry of Indianola. They will be our 2A officials, and we're just about ready to start this ball game, and it should be a good one. Really a dandy. Hudson, I've seen them play 3 times this year, and I'll tell you, they are a strong ball club. They control the line of scrimmage, and that's what they need to do today against Sigourney, which is just as quick as they come.
Last game of the season, that's what they did. They controlled the line of scrimmage, and they picked up over 400 yards rushing offense alone in that game that they played in the Dome. So they're used to this facility, and they're used to the field, and it plays to their type of abilities. They like the quick cuts.
George Margette, the quarterback for Sigourney, is quite a passer. We haven't seen too much passing going on in the 1A and the 4A games. The 1A game, of course, won by Trainer. The 4A game last night by Dubuque Hempstead over West Des Moines Valley. But George Margette can go to the air. He has thrown for over 1,300 yards. So there might be an aerial show as well this afternoon.
Not only an aerial show, just an offensive show. As you mentioned, Sigourney is a high-scoring team. They have the offense average over 40 points per game, and Hudson very similar, 3,000 yards plus during the regular season on the ground, 1,000 through the air, 1,300 in the playoffs. So they are ready to go.
We're just about ready to set for the kickoff here in the 2A title game. Terry Wachter will be kicking off her Sigourney. Back deep for the Hudson Pirates is Dean Lane, and the kick will go to Lane at the 15-yard line. He gets some room to run, and he is brought down at the 29-yard line. Let's take a look at the Hudson offensive backfield as we get started here. Jeff Lorenz will be the fullback. He's a good one. Bob Martin at quarterback, Dean Lane at tailback, and Tom Peterson in the slot. Bob Martin, a 6'2", 190-pound senior, is thrown for 985 yards, and the handoff will go inside to Dean Lane, who gets stacked up after a gain of about 1. The offensive line start out with split end Kevin Dimmler. The left tackle is Ken Buns. Brad Miller at left guard. Greg Weavers is at center. Dave Church at right guard. Mike Schindler, he's the all-state right tackle. And Mark Shellhorn is the big tight end, 6'4" and 185 pounds. 2nd and 9. Hudson with the ball. The game just underway. Jeff Lorenz picks up 3 and penalty markers fly.
They're thrown from the defensive backfield there. Officials discussing the call at this moment. See what they mark off.
Motion penalty against the Hudson Pirates.
Kind of surprised Dean Lane. They've been trying to run him inside. Dean does not have much size at all.
I'll tell you though, Dean Lane can really do some things. I saw him against West Marshall. 237 yards he had. He has rushed for over 500 yards, and he's only played in the last 4 ball games.
He's the breakaway runner. He has great speed. He only weighs 140 pounds, so they're going to try to get him to the outside.
Only a sophomore, 5'7" and 140 pounds. The penalty is declined. It'll bring up a 3rd and 6, and they go to Dean Lane again. He's stacked up in there by number 85, Joe Edmondson.
It's going to be 4th and short. They finally tried to break Dean to the outside. Sigourney Savages up to the challenge. So we have our first punt of the game.
First possession, Hudson will have to punt. Kevin Dimmler, who averaged a little over 30 yards a punt, is in there standing back at his own 20-yard line. He gets a boomer away. That's Jim House, who fumbles the football, but picks it up and returns it to his own 33.5-yard line.
I believe that's the first southpaw kicker that we've witnessed at the previous 2 games, and this one here. Nice kick.
Dimmler's a big kid, 6'5", 170 pounds. 35-yard punt by Kevin Dimmler. Let's take a look at the offensive backfield. George Margette is in there at quarterback, 6'1", 170-pound senior. The full house tee and the pitch goes to the right side. Tim Holt. Jeff Margette is in there at one fullback spot. He's the cousin of the quarterback, George Margette. One of the running backs, Tim Holt, we saw him on the first play, 1,300 yards rushing on the play, and Jim House is the other running back. They'll use that full house tee, or they'll go to the slot, which is what they have right now. Deuce backfield. Hand off to Margette, and he's stacked up before he picks up the first down. The offensive line for the Sigourney Savages, Don Easter, Dan Alderson is in there at one tackle, Mike Glandon at guard, Mark Flanagan at center, Joe Greiner at the other guard, Mark Applegate at tackle, and Dean Hammis, their leading pass receiver, at the other end. There's that full house tee on a 3rd and 2 situation. Appeared to be some movement on the Pirate defense, but no flags fly, and Sigourney has a first down.
Maintaining the possession, and should mention here, do not confuse Tim Holt with Tom Holt, although both have the same goal in mind. Excellent runners. Tom, of course, with Hempstead, leading their team to victory.
Boy, what a ball game he had last night. 210 yards on 30 carries. As Hempstead powered their way over West Des Moines Valley. 1st and 10 for the Sigourney Savages, their first possession of the ball game. And George Margette wants to throw the football. Complete to number 20, Jim House. And another first down for the Sigourney Savages. Nick Evans on the stop for the Pirates.
Nice down and out pattern. Short 15-yard pass. That's the way to do it. They're opening up their offense. Hudson Pirates, not quite sure exactly what's going to be called. And Sigourney, of course, with 40-plus points per game, they have the ability to mix it up on the ground and through the air.
3 times they scored on their first play of the ball game. That's Marquette on the carry. He's racked up in there, no gain. Mike Schindler, the big tackle who was an all-stater, 6'4", 220-pound senior for the Hudson Pirates, in there to make the stop, helped out by Ken Buns.
No surprise there. 3 gold helmets around. You know why they have the gold helmets.
And Bob Martin, the quarterback for the Hudson Pirates, comes limping off the field. He plays defensive back. Marquette wants to throw the football, and it's incomplete out on the left flat.
Confusion on that play.
Little screen intended to Tim Holt.
Expecting Holt to break up field. There was a little pattern out to the side, and he dropped back instead for the reception.
Holt is their breakaway threat. He has runs this year of 80, 69, and 40 yards. He can fly. 3rd and 10 at the 41-yard line. Marquette wants to throw the football, and incomplete to Dean Hammis just across the 30-yard line.
They were using Holt that time to try to set up some interference downfield, sending 2 receivers wide to the left. Pass a little overthrown. The surprising, gone to the air quite a bit. 3rd pass this game already.
George Marquette, a 3-year starter in there at quarterback. And we'll see the punting unit for the Savages. Scott Lindell, the punter. Kevin Dimmler, one of the deep backs, although not very far. And the punt will go inside the 15-yard line, and they're going to let it roll down at the 7-yard line. So Kevin Dimmler called for the fair catch and let the ball sail over his head, and it took a Sigourney bounce down to the 7-yard line.
I couldn't understand that punt. From about the 50-yard line, the Hudson receivers were up around the 20, and like you said, it sailed over his head, and they downed it on the 7-yard line. So Hudson deep in their territory. An excellent play for Sigourney.
33-yard punt, 1st and 10 for the Pirates. Flags fly as the Pirates try to get some offense generated in the shadow of their own end zone. Illegal procedure, so some movement on the Pirate offense.
They'll mark off half the distance to the goal line.
We mentioned that Bob Martin, the quarterback for the Hudson Pirates, limped off the field. He, of course, plays in the defensive secondary. And so in there at quarterback right now is Marty Kerr. He's a 5'11", 165-pound junior, number 15. So the Pirates lose Martin, and they have their backup quarterback in there at this moment.
He's a 1st and 14. So they're deep in their own territory. They'll have 2nd down. Of course, they got the down over. Took the yardage back there. Hudson needs to get out of the hole here.
Mike Glandon in on the stop for the Sigourney Savages. It'll bring up a 2nd and 12 situation as the play is run in there by Dave Church, the right guard. And flags fly again. Too much time against the Pirates.
Again, half the distance. That's going to take it back to the 3-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 14.
Pirates showing quite a few jitters early in the ball game, which is kind of surprising in a way because they are a playoff experienced ball club.
Can't get much closer to the goal line.
2nd down.